The confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 1,635, with 4 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 12 additional cases were reported and no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's Monday, July 19th. LA County is under another mask mandate, and every resident is required to wear a face covering indoors, regardless of vaccination status. The Public Health Department tweeted this reminder, saying the new requirement is due to increased transmission. Officials say case numbers quadrupled since the June 15th state reopening, and hospitalizations are also up. LA County is now recording more than 10,000 coronavirus cases a week, a pace not seen since March. Public health officials say it is due to the presence of the more infectious Delta variant, which has become the dominant strain in LA County, making up 71% of all new cases. They add that the intermingling of unmasked individuals where vaccination status is unknown also contributes to the high numbers. The vast majority of new cases are among the unvaccinated. The latest mask mandate went into effect at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday everywhere in LA County except Pasadena. Here is how the revised rules work. The new mandate applies to everyone, including vaccinated people. Those exempt are children under 2 and anyone who can't safely wear a mask. All indoor public spaces and businesses are affected, including gyms, offices, and restaurant and bars when not eating or drinking. Large events such as concerts, conferences, and sports games must also follow this new mandate. Currently, there are no changes to physical distancing or business restrictions, but if infections continue to worsen, public health officials say extra measures may be taken. They plan to keep this order in effect until the community transmission level improves. It's unclear at this time when that might be. Unvaccinated LA County residents are urged to get their shots now. Officials say vaccination rates are slowing and more progress is needed to close the gaps in vaccine coverage, especially among middle-aged Blacks and Latinos who make up much of the county's essential workforce. 61% of county residents ages 16 and older are fully vaccinated. That's more than 5 million people, but the Public Health Department still has a long way to go before it reaches its goal of herd immunity, which requires at least 80% of the county to get vaccinated. COVID-19 cases are now going up in every single state. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy says he's concerned about what lies ahead with this new trend, as millions of people are still unvaccinated and the highly contagious Delta variant continues to spread rapidly. He says while vaccinated people are very well protected against hospitalization and death, it's a different story for those who are not. Nearly all coronavirus deaths now are of those who have not gotten vaccinated. Last week, U.S. cases of COVID-19 went up by 17,000 over a 14-day period. That's a first since last fall. Numbers and hospitalizations are still far below the peak of the pandemic, and Dr. Murthy says there is not nearly enough progress being made in the fight against misinformation about COVID-19, especially through social media. He asks everyone to pause and see if a source is accurate and coming from a scientifically credible place before sharing articles that could spread false news. The Tokyo Olympics begins this Friday, but Cases of COVID-19 among athletes and others are elevating concerns. 2 South African soccer players and a beach volleyball player from the Czech Republic tested positive for the coronavirus inside the Olympic Village. That's where roughly 11,000 athletes and thousands more team officials are expected to be over the next 3 weeks. The soccer players and a team video analyst who also tested positive were moved to an isolation facility, and the rest of the squad members and officials are also being quarantined. Team South Africa also confirmed that the coach of its Rugby Sevens team tested positive for COVID-19 at a pre-Olympics training camp in another part of Japan. He's in isolation there and will miss the entire rugby competition. Olympic organizers say another non-Japanese athlete, a South Korean official with the International Olympic Committee, and a member of the IOC's refugee Olympic team all tested positive for the coronavirus as well. They were already in Japan or on their way there. And most notably here in the U.S., Kara Eaker, an alternate on the women's gymnastics team, and tennis player Coco Gauff both tested positive for COVID-19 and won't be able to compete at the Olympic Games. Gauff tweeted that this has always been a dream of hers to represent the USA at the Olympics, and she hopes there will be many more chances for her to make that dream come true in the future. There has been consistent opposition from the Japanese public to holding the Olympics during the pandemic, but for now, the Games will go on with the opening ceremony set to take place this Friday at 4 a.m. Los Angeles time. Close to 100 people have now been identified in the condo collapse in Surfside, Florida. One of the recent confirmed fatalities is that of an LA music executive. Miami-Dade police say the body of 36-year-old Teresa Velasquez was found in the rubble of the Champlain Towers South condo that collapsed on June 24th. Her body was first discovered on July 8th and positively identified this past Saturday. The California resident worked at Live Nation as a senior vice president of strategic partnerships. She arrived in Surfside to visit her parents the night before the collapse. Her parents, Angela Maria and Julio Cesar Velasquez, had lived in that complex for nearly a decade. Their bodies were also recovered and identified earlier. Live Nation issued a statement saying in part, quote, "Teresa was an impassioned leader at Live Nation who elevated every project she was part of, at the same time breaking down barriers for women and the LGBTQIA+ community. We will always remember and honor the impact she made and will miss her dearly." California launches the largest free school lunch program in the country, and starting this fall, every student can eat meals at no charge. This applies to all 6.2 million public school students, regardless of their family's income. It was made possible by the state's unexpected budget surplus, and lawmakers, parents, and school officials are applauding it as a way to prevent the stigma of accepting free lunches and feed more hungry children. Erin Primer, Director of Food Services for the San Luis Coastal Unified School District on the Central Coast, says this is so historic and beyond life-changing. Several cities, including Boston, Chicago, and New York, already offer free school meals for every child, but California becomes the first state to adopt a universal program to provide this across the state. Primer says we've completely leveled the playing field when it comes to school food, and the extra funding will also allow districts like hers to offer tastier, better quality foods such as fresh bread, produce, and cheese from local producers. She adds that there have been countless stories of children who were struggling but too ashamed to eat for free. Here in Southern California, LAUSD is the state's largest school district with 600,000 students, and they've given up to 400,000 meals a day, Senator Nancy Skinner, who has been a longtime advocate for universal free meals, helped push for funding in the state budget to make this happen. She and lawmakers gained the support of more than 200 organizations in a coalition called School Meals for All. The state budget will allocate $54 million for the coming school year, supplementing funding from the Biden administration through June of 2022. Now, after that, California will spend $650 million annually to make sure no school kid goes hungry. LA-based pro golfer Collin Morikawa captured his second major championship on Sunday. The 24-year-old won the British Open, becoming the first men's golfer in history to win his debut at two separate major events. He also became the 8th golfer ever to win two majors before the age of 25. Golf TV tweeted this, saying Morikawa and Tiger Woods are the only two players to win the Open and the PGA Championship before turning 25. Morikawa is a UC Berkeley graduate, originally from La Cañada. He said this is by far one of the best moments of his life, and he even gets chills just thinking about it. Morikawa won the biggest prize in Open Championship history, $2.07 million. Another LA athlete made headlines over the weekend. Shohei Ohtani, who made history in Major League Baseball's All-Star Game this month as both a hitter and a pitcher, donated his earnings from the Home Run Derby to dozens of Angels support staff. The 27-year-old received $150,000 for his participation and reportedly distributed individual checks to around 30 employees, including clubhouse workers, media relations personnel, and trainers in Anaheim. Ohtani planned to do this no matter how the Derby played out, which means he actually could have given away as much as $1 million if he had won. The LA Angel became the first Japanese player to participate in the Home Run Derby. He hit his 34th home run back home on Sunday. For the first time ever, the Orange County Fair was sold out. Event officials say Saturday was their busiest day, and they expect more dates to sell out in the future. So if you want to indulge in all of that fried food, fun games, and rides, they highly recommend you buy tickets in advance. The fair was canceled last year due to the pandemic, and this year there is a limit on daily capacity. It's capped at 45,000 visitors a day, and remember, face masks are required indoors. The OC Fair runs through August 15th and opens each day from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and until midnight on weekends. Tickets can be purchased at ocfair.com or through the OC Fair 2021 mobile app. Well, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is launching into space tomorrow. After 15 successful test flights without anyone on board, Bezos' company Blue Origin will have its first human spaceflight. The billionaire will be joined by his brother Mark, aerospace pioneer Wally Funk, and a Dutch teenager, Oliver Damon, as they take off in the New Shepard vehicle from West Texas. They are expected to graze the edge of space and float in microgravity for a couple of minutes before returning to Earth. Bezos founded this company in the year 2000 and has been testing prototypes of its New Shepard rocket and capsule for more than a decade. Blue Origin will provide a live online broadcast of the launch, which is scheduled to begin at 4:30 a.m. LA time tomorrow, with liftoff expected at 6 a.m. Last week, Malaga Bank's Sky Park office celebrated its grand reopening with a ribbon-cutting ceremony.
Malaga!
Malaga Bank's your only local community bank left in the South Bay area, and we're happy to welcome anybody at any time. So come on in and come and chat with us about your banking needs.
Senior VP Sasha O'Hara says this bank location has been closed for more than a year due to COVID-19. It's located on Hawthorne Boulevard, just southeast of Sky Park Drive. Bank officials say they are proud of its continuing tradition of relationship-based banking and customer service at its multiple locations in Torrance, Palos Verdes, and San Pedro. The Torrance Art Museum celebrated its museum reopening and the official kickoff of its Ultra art exhibit.
This Ultra project is ultra fantastic. Discover Torrance jumped in with both feet to support them because people are coming from near and far to view these spectacular, adventurous artworks that are in public places. So it's helping to put Torrance on the map even more than it already is.
Live performances and interactive installations entertained the crowds. This is the museum's first public art exhibit of its kind, with 21 interactive art pieces strategically placed around the city. Everything is free and open to the community. Artworks are featured all over Torrance, from City Hall, the Del Amo Fashion Center, the Katie Geyser Main Library, Lago Seco Park, Wilson Park, Torrance High School, and of course, the Torrance Art Museum. To learn more, go to torranceartmuseum.com. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. A group of about 10 volunteers came out to clean the city's Veterans Memorial on Saturday morning. They say they are doing this because Torrance has really taken care of veterans across the board, and they just wanted to thank the city for everything they have done. This is a special place dedicated to all men and women who have given their lives in the service of their country during war. The names of Torrance residents who died in battle are engraved in eternal remembrance and gratitude for their sacrifice. The city also included a quote on the wall expressing deep respect and appreciation of those who served and gave their all for their country. Residents and visitors are encouraged to stop by and honor those who have served and take the time to read the 146 names that are currently on the wall. If you'd like to visit the memorial, it's located at the corner of Torrance Boulevard and Maple Avenue. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 today. We will see you back here tomorrow as Rhianna Trutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.